Donte, when we think about the way that Jake McDaniels is playing right now, I was wondering just if you've played with anyone who's kind of his build, what he's bringing to the NBA. Does it remind you of anyone, and what do you just kind of think his sustained impact this year has been?
I don't like to get into comparisons at all, but it reminds me a little bit about Wiggins, a little bit, Andrew Wiggins. Just his demeanor, the calm presence, playing defense, making the right play. Obviously, they have different skill sets, but just playing with both of them, they kind of remind me of each other. But what he's bringing to us is huge. I think throughout the game, sometimes we're looking for a spark, and he delivers. Sometimes we're looking to, put our foot on the neck, and he delivers. And then sometimes we're just looking for just the steadiness throughout the game. And he's been doing everything that we've asked him to do, and what's expected of him.
Donte, how much pride are you taking right now in like the defensive plays you're making to swing possessions and games?
Yeah.
Like it seems to be such a spark that this team
Just trying to make plays, honestly. I think coming in this year, just trying to be more solid defensively, but still trying to be who I am, which is kind of taking risk and gambling a little bit. So finding that balance of, from the coaching staff and what's wanting being more solid, but still trying to find ways to impact the game and disrupt stuff on the defensive end, and trying to find that balance.
The shot blocking I know it's always been something you do, but like how have you worked on developing the timing and like the decision making on when you can get there and when you need to?
I think it's a lot of it is our cohesiveness, like on the defensive end, of knowing how we're going to stand up drives and knowing which if he drives this way, we're going to defend it this way, and then you can time it up and use your abilities. But when you don't know when any of that's going to occur, it's kind of hard to just use your natural abilities. You can get away with it, but it's way easier when when the guy spins, you're going to be right there and stuff like that. So I think that's more credit to everybody else on the defensive end, just making it hard for them and then putting them in uncomfortable positions, and then whoever the weak side is comes over and gets a block.
How do you and just develop your chemistry?
I'm sorry?
How do you and just kind of develop your two-man chemistry during your time here?
Just talking it out, and honestly talking to each other. I mean, that's just the real answers. We keep things light with each other. Stuff that he doesn't do, the best of his ability, and stuff that I don't do the best of my abilities, we bring it up to each other, in a lighthearted way, and but also we encourage each other to keep going back to it. I think throughout this season, you've seen it, like, no matter what happens, we go back to certain actions, and if something, if something's working and we see it's working, we just keep going back to it. There's a couple games where me setting the screen for him off the ball and getting him downhill, and he liked that action, and we just ran it 4 or 5 times, and we scored 4 or 5 straight times. So it's just talking and keeping everything lighthearted, and just, you got to be teammates and friends at the end of the day first.
Has being in the starting lineup this year and getting more minutes with him facilitated that, kind of expedited that process?
For sure, it's helped. It's helped. I think, from a mental aspect of, you have something not in the way of what you're thinking. So then you just kind of give everything else up for the team. And that's the huge part of it, is trying to make his life as easy as possible. His life and Julius's life. I think when you have guys that have the ball in their hands a lot, and a lot of our decisions are being made by them, is, you have to make it easy for them. And not just rely on them to make the right play every single time, which they do a lot, but make those decisions easier for them to make.
You say kind of, what are your guys' role when Julius has ball and has the ball to help them get those plays easier?
Yeah, I think it's leading up to when they get the ball, is the positions they get the ball in, and not making it hard where they have to, dribble the full length of the court and go one-on-one. Is how do we, relieve some of the pressure early, then get it back to them in the spots they'd like to get it back to. And then also just know their tendencies, know where to be when Julius does certain moves and he likes to pass the ball in certain areas. And I think guys are figuring it out with him because, last year I knew exactly where he kind of wants to be, but it takes a little while. And once you kind of get that, you understand that you're going to be really open with him, and he's making the right play a lot of the time.
Donte, have you seen Rudy dunk with more authority lately? It seems like there's just playing with more force. What does that do? Yeah,
we need him to. We need him to be a force in the paint. Even if he's getting fouled, he's going up strong, trying to explode to the rim. because he's a load down there. He's 7 whatever, and he can be a force. So we need him to do that every single on the defensive end and on the offensive end. Because when he is doing that, it opens up so much more for everybody else.
Donte, with you going into the starting lineup, Mike's obviously off the bench, minutes are a little increased, but like, how much does he mean to you guys, like behind the scenes, maybe stuff that fans don't see as much on the court?
I don't like to use this because Coach Kerr used it in Golden State about Kevon Looney. He was like, the compass, the moral compass of the team. Well, that's Mike. Like, everybody goes to him when stuff's going good. Everybody goes to him when stuff's going bad, individually and collectively. And when he goes out on the floor, it's a level of calmness. But also when he's calling you over to the bench, your ears are perked up to listen to what he has to say. But also, a perfect example of when he hits that corner three, he daps up and has a handshake with every single person on our team. Like, that's just who he is, and that's, everybody rallies around him because his demeanor is what carries the team.
Donte, it feels like Finch kind of philosophically tends to lead with rotations, with lineup combinations, rotations, things like that. And since you've gotten here, gotten more into things, how has that kind of helped you as a player and helped you see it help the team?
I think the coaching style is amazing because he allows you, he gives you the green light. But with that green light, there's structure. He knows, you know where you're supposed to get your looks, where the actions that you're supposed to be in, and there's no confusion of, am I supposed to do this, am I supposed to do that? But with that being said, there's the ultimate green light with him. As long as you're defending and playing hard, and then rotation-wise, kind of when you're coming in, when you're coming out, so you can mentally get ready for, especially for the young guys coming off the bench, you can get ready at 2 minutes before you're going in. And that just builds confidence over the course of the season because everybody knows they're going to get opportunity.
When you've played for a lot of really good coaches, what kind of separates Finch from like the Kerrs, Budenholzers?
I think his demeanor. I think, as fiery as you guys may see him sometimes on the refs and stuff, like, he keeps it calm with us while still getting his message across. Sometimes, when he does raise his voice or snap, like, it's something meaningful. Because it's not rah-rah all the time. I think that's when guys, kind of just associate it with, it is in one ear and out the other. With him, there's a calmness to him. You understand what the message is, and then when he does get into you, the severity of it. And everybody responds. I think that's with him is everybody has responded every single time he has coached us hard.